Hi, I'm Jonathan with Go for Rents, and in this how-to video, I'm going to show you how to add your landlord to the listing. I've already logged into my Realtor account. So the first thing I want to do is go to my Applications tab and select the address where I want to add the landlord, just to confirm that I have not already added the landlord to the listing. So let's go there. And I'm going to select this listing. Okay, so now that I'm on the listing, I'm checking the section where the landlord information will go, and that's right here. And there's nothing there, which means that the landlord has not been added to the listing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me zoom in there for you again too. So here in the landlord section, the landlord has not been added. So we're going to go to the listings tab and add the landlord to the listing. So click on the listings tab. It's right here. And we're going to add the landlord to the listing. So now that I'm on the listings tab, the first thing I want to do is go to my current listings panel and confirm that the listing that I want to work with is here. And as you can see, the Bankers Way listing right here. So you want to select that listing so everything in the middle of the page will populate with that listing's information. What you don't want to do is add a new listing, because that just causes all kinds of issues. So we want to select the Bankers Way listing, and then by selecting that listing, everything in the middle of the page will populate with that listing's information. And we know that we selected that listing because now we see it here, and we also see it here, and we also see it here. And if I scroll down the page, it has all of that listing's information. So what we want to do is go to where it says deliver application to, which would be here. And right now the default is listing realtor only. So let me zoom in for you a little bit more so you can see that. We're on the deliver application to section right here, and it says listing realtor only. So we want to select this one and select both. So now what we need to do is add the landlord's phone number and email address. And then we'll add our stick it to him landlord. And if I had an additional landlord, I would select the plus button and add another landlord. If I had another one, I would click the plus button again and add another landlord. Now the purpose of the primary section is for rent collections. By default, the first landlord you add will be the one that will be able to collect rent. Only one landlord can collect rent into their bank account. If you add another landlord on the second line and you wanted that one to be the primary, we just select the primary button. But by default, the first landlord you add is automatically set as the primary. So we'll delete that one and delete that one, because we aren't adding any additional landlords. So now that the landlord's information is in, once we click the update listing button, Go for Rent will send the landlord an email asking them to activate their landlord account. So let's go ahead and scroll down and click update listing. And now it saves it and sends an email over to the landlord. And then I'll show you what that email looks like. This is a sample of what the email looks like that the landlord receives. So it references the address of the listing and tells them why they've received this email. So as long as the landlord follows this link, then it would automatically connect them to the listing once they activate their account. So now that we've added the landlord to the listing and we've updated the listing, let's go back to the applications tab to see what it looks like once you add the landlord. So what we want to do now is select the listing from the right panel. So now that we're on the applications tab and we've selected the listing, in the landlord section, you now see the information that you've entered about the landlord. So we know that we've entered the landlord's information correctly because now it's showing here on the applications tab for this Banker's Way listing. And if you have multiple applications for the same listing, the landlord will be connected to all of the applications. So now this one says inactive because the landlord has not activated the account. Once the landlord activates the account, that will say active. Okay, so we're back on the applications tab and the landlord has activated the listing. So let me zoom in a little bit for you. So here in the landlord section, you now see the landlord's name here. And now that the status says active. So that means that the landlord has activated their account and they now have access to view everything on the applications tab for that listing. So if the applicant is applied, the landlord will be able to view any applications, any supporting documents the applicant has uploaded, and they also have the ability to process the application. So they can click the screen now, view the background check, view any verifications that have been uploaded, and they can render a leasing decision. So there you have it. If you followed these instructions correctly, then you have successfully added the landlord to the listing, and the landlord will appear in the landlord section on the applications tab. And again, for every application for this listing, the landlord will have access to it. So each time an applicant applies to the listing, the landlord will receive a notification of a new application and can log into their dashboard to view the application, any supporting documents, and process the lease application.